Hey everyone. This week's first chapter Friday is I Survived the Great Alaska Earthquake of 1964 by Lauren Tarshis. So, chapter 1, Friday, March 27th, 1964, 5:36 p.m., Valdez, Alaska. To 11-year-old Jackson Barrett, it seemed like the world was ending. He was caught in the middle of the most powerful earthquake in United States history. Across Alaska, the ground shattered like glass. Buildings fell to pieces. Icy cliff sides crashed into the sea, and giant tsunami waves smashed into towns and villages along the coast. Just moments before it started, Jackson had been at the waterfront in the small town of Valdez. The docks were crowded with families and happy kids, and suddenly a strange roar filled the air. Jackson's body shook, but wait, it wasn't just his body that was shaking. Everything around him was shaking too. And then a woman screamed, "Earthquake!" The roaring got louder, hammering Jackson's ears. The ground shook harder, knocking him to his knees. The freezing water in the harbor seemed to boil like an evil witch's brew. And on the streets, cars swerved and spun. Trees and telephone poles swayed. The roaring got louder, and the shaking got harder. Louder, harder, louder, harder. Jackson tried to stand up, but it was impossible. The ground seemed to have come alive, rising and falling, twisting and rolling. For Jackson, it was like riding on the top of a giant squirming snake. He clawed his way forward on his hands and knees, inching his way across the shaking ground. He had finally made it out to the street when, crack, a massive gash opened in the ground right in front of him. Jackson turned around, but crack, an even bigger gash tore open behind him. A sickening stench rose from the darkness below. Jackson tried not to think of what would be waiting for him down there. Boiling lava, shooting flames, the slobbering mouth of a hungry beast. The ground under him started to crumble apart. "Please, no!" Jackson screamed, but down he fell, helpless and terrified, into the darkness. That is chapter 1. If you have never read an I Survived book, they are super fun. They are all based on real life natural disasters that happen at some point in history. They are fictionalized accounts, but the end does always have a brief non-section period about it. And it's also really great if you're looking to transition into more chapter books from graphic novels, because there are some cool illustrations along the way. So if this sounds good to you, come by the library and check it out. Otherwise, I have a huge collection of I Survived books if you are interested in a different disaster.